Hello, ladies. I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Liz, I take it your video is still not working, right? Oh, we can't even hear you. That's okay.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Well, first of all, thank you for joining us today, Q&A, where we discuss. Some of you feel free to ask questions if you wish, and we can discuss various topics related, of course, to the paranormal, religion, and the state of things in the world, and so forth. And we're not here to prove any point or argue or whatever. As you know, some of you are familiar with some of the Q&As we've held before, and we're here to unite, basically. So I'm going to start with something that just came up on my Facebook wall. Very interesting. And it said humans can see frequencies from 430 to 790 um, hertz, whatever that is, and perceive sound between 20 to 40 kilohertz. These ranges are just a tiny portion of the entire spectrum of light and sound, meaning much of what exists is entirely invisible to us. So, this is fantastic. I've made a screenshot of this because people obviously base on reality on this tiny bit of spectrum and ignore what is beyond that. Personally, I feel there's way, way, way more out there beyond the spectrum. And some of us have maybe a sensitivity where we can perhaps go just a tiny bit beyond these limitations. And that's how we perceive things from the other side. It makes sense to me because that's how I become attuned to the other side. That's how I feel connected to the other side. It's quite fascinating. Sorry, I had to share this with you guys. And Stephanie, don't worry about your dog.
I got one here too.
And you have, oh, look at him.
Oh,
I was like,
okay.
I kept saying, your room looks like my room with the curtains and everything. We've got our dogs crawling up here. It's
They're
funny.
super cute. Don't worry about them at all.
Okay.
So, so really, this,
Okay.
this I wanted to share for us to know, and I'm going to write an article about this and post it on my page as well, because I find this absolutely fascinating. And
Mhm.
what's quite incredible is nowadays some scientists or people of the scientific persuasion or mind or whatever, they are now starting to accept the term that there might be something out there that's beyond our perception, and they can no longer deny it.
Mhm.
So this is really a very good catalyst for what we're doing and what we're hoping to achieve in the future. So
Mhm.
with that, girls, if anyone has a question, please feel free to go ahead.
I do. So with starting off with that this morning, so like I always hear like the 3D and the 5D and
Hmm.
the Great Awakening and all of that. Do you think that what we can't perceive is that kind of like what do you know what I'm have you heard the 3D, 5D like realms
Just
that we're
heard that this
living in?
morning.
Okay. So I'm not talking about like so we kind of know what we're talking about. Is that similar or is that something totally different? I mean, how do you interact with that or interchange that?
Um, I don't like to use labels because I don't really understand. I don't know if five or six
Okay.
or seven are the limitations here.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
don't know if there's a reality within another reality. Who knows? But I do believe that what I read earlier perhaps is aligned with what you're saying here, Stephanie.
Mhm.
and that there is something out there that's far beyond our limited scope of life, how it is right now. So yes, I believe in it wholeheartedly.
Mhm.
Yeah,
In
that's
fact,
what made me think of that.
this takes me to the other thing I wanted to discuss with you guys today, because many people ask me, how is it that you actually connect with them? Do they physically come into the room? Are they standing next to you? Or what's going on? How are they channeling this information through to you? Now, again, there is no set way of how they do this. Generally, what I've noticed is as if they get into like a phone box situation. And I'm in like my phone box situation, and we connect remotely together. This is most of the time. Sometimes I feel them standing right next to me. Sometimes I feel them come through that connection and actually come through and connect with me in person, especially when they are persistent and they want to convey a message. Let's say my client is confused, they're not getting it or something. They come through like, hey, this is what I'm trying to say here. Wake the hell up. Come on. And that's when I can feel them very strongly right next to me. Generally there is that sort of space between us where they have their space, I have my space. We don't cross the boundaries. And before I start the process, of course, I say my prayers, two sets of prayers, and then I open up. And reason is why I say the prayers is because I don't like psychics. Well, sorry, I'm not in favor of psychics who feel entitled, who go in guns blazing, like I'm the psychic, I'm the one. No, 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 no. I feel that we have to ask for permission here, out of respect. You don't just go in and open the door to visit your friends. You knock on the door, you ring the bell, you show courtesy. So this is my way of showing courtesy and appreciation. Then, when I feel like my vibration is being changed a little bit, when I start to feel a change within myself, I feel yes. And I start to perceive things before I actually meet with the clients, which is beautiful then. And that's when they share private moments with me. They tell me sometimes rude jokes. Sometimes they tell me things that about the client, they tease them because they love to do that. They love to assert their original personality to show that nothing has changed. This is who they are. And then the process begins. The process is usually supervised by, I call them the blessed angels, guides, or whoever they may be, bless them. I make sure that I am working within the confines of that safety, because this assures me that no imposter, no nasty elements can get through. This becomes a blessed channel by which only the ones who are authorized connect with me, no one else. And this is the process. Sometimes um, I feel physical sensations as well. So, for instance, if they want me to feel something in my chest, I feel like almost a faint touch, very discreetly, not to make me jump, because that's not the purpose here, but something like a little sensation, and I know they're pointing me to the chest or something to the back of the head. One lady who was a client, and her dad unfortunately shot himself in the head, and I felt something is going wrong in my head, and I explained to her, why am I feeling this? She said, because he sadly shot himself in the head. So this is how they do that. Children are the most amazing ones. Children come
Mhm.
through, there are no barriers. And I absolutely love that, because I adore kids. I absolutely love kids.
Mhm.
So they come through, whether the channel, whether the tunnel, whatever you want to call it, they break through everything. And sometimes they come through, and I've had gentle taps from them. I've had them speaking over their loved ones here. So I'm conveying a message, and they're doing what children do. Sometimes they start pulling faces, sometimes they start being cheeky, Sometimes they talk nonsense because that's what children do. But generally, the power of healing and love is so amazing from children because it's so pure. I struggle through these sessions because it touches my heart so much. They are little angels. So that's the story with the sessions.
I love that. Do you so I know you start your sessions, with your prayers beforehand. And I know in the past we've talked and you've discussed how, you open yourself up and then you'll close yourself down. What do you ever find yourself like just in everyday life where you're doing something and then all of a sudden somebody's there and they're like wanting to talk? And it doesn't have to be a stranger. It can be a family person, a family member, or a friend of a friend who's passed. How do you then just interact with that person if you're comfortable doing that? Or do you center yourself? What do you do in that situation?
Stephanie, in my day-to-day life, I'm just the old Garo. Nothing special, nothing. Um, I make sure to be closed at all times.
Okay.
Mm.
So nothing comes through, not even a loved one, not even a family member. Although sometimes I feel if I was to open up, they're there. But
Mm.
Okay.
it's not supposed to happen that way.
Okay.
I've seen psychics where uh, uh, they give impromptu messages in the middle of the street or somewhere. No,
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't work this way. I'm sorry. It doesn't work this way. You have to have the right elements, the right time, the right space.
Mm.
Everything has to be in the correct condition for it to work properly. Now I can do it. I can do that. It's happened, it's happened to me in the past where I've been thinking, wow, this is interesting. I'm picking up here, I'm picking up there, but I paid a heavy price for it because you leave yourself open and vulnerable, and it shouldn't be the case. As I said, I have my guides with me, my blessed
Mm.
angels, when I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing my session to protect not only me, to protect my client and to
Mhm.
protect the loved one on the other side. Because the link has to be blessed and established in the perfect uh, frequency, the perfect setting where we're all safe. So that's how
Yeah.
I feel. However, it's happened to me once. I remember at least once where I was walking past a shop, and I looked inside the shop. I don't know why I stopped. I looked inside the shop and there's two ladies talking or trying clothes or something. And I looked at
Mm-hmm.
one of them and I went something like, and I don't know why. And she looked at me and I went again like this. And she went like this and she kept staring at me. So something prompted me to go into the shop. And I said, I'm sorry, I don't know why I was doing that to you. And she said, my grandma passed 2 weeks ago. And whenever she used to see me, she used to do this.
Oh, wow.
Okay, that's beautiful. That's confirmation. Of course, she was tearful. That's confirmation to her and so forth. However, I would make sure that is not repeated again.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It means that
Yeah.
at the time I was open and I should not be open. Definitely not in a public place,
Mm.
not in a setting that is not suitable for me to be open.
I have a question for you though.
Yeah.
Um, when you're sleeping, I've had some prophetic dreams, most of which are not really that significant, except for one, which was very specific. Is it okay if I tell you this story?
Uh, we're due to meet soon, so it's up to you. If it's
Okay,
something,
well, no, I'll just very shortly. I just say I dreamt that I was at my house back in the 1980s answering a rotary phone, and this man from church, who I don't even know that well, was telling me that his father died, but he was in the wrong country at the time. So by the time he found out about the funeral, it had passed. And I went to church that morning, and I saw him and I said, "Hey, I had this dream about you, blah, blah, blah." Is your dad still alive? He goes, "Here's the thing." And before I even got the words out of my mouth, he said, "When my father died, I was in Ireland, he was in Australia, and communication wasn't like it was. So
Wow.
by the time I found out about it, the funeral passed." I said, "Oh my God." I said, "That was my dream." And he didn't believe me, I don't think. I mean, he just kind of laughed it off. But I'm like, like, what was that? And I can only say that's only one time that like I've had something that specific, that accurate. It was 100% correct.
Um, it's not unheard of. When we sleep, our vibrations change. I mean, I don't want to go into the technical aspect because I really have no
Right,
idea. Okay, and I doubt anyone knows really how it works.
right.
But I know that the mind sort of is suppressed. So when the mind is suppressed, other parts of
Mm,
us are more become more dominant here. So we become
mm,
more sensitive. We pick things up. So yeah, I would not put it past you having picked up uh,
right.
something that's actually happening.
But should you ground yourself before you go to sleep? I mean, I don't think there was anything bad about that. It was certainly a very nice message, but I
E-
mean,
that's the golden question here. I
mm,
always recommend to anyone who has sensitivity to
mm,
ground themselves before sleep and to ground
okay,
themselves when they wake up. I do that quite often. I ground myself several times a day
right.
because it's easy for me to become open knowingly or unknowingly.
Mm,
Okay. Sometimes when you have to think about it. Sometimes you think to yourself, why the hell did I just say this or do this or whatever?
right,
But
right, right,
when you're not in your faculty, then it means you probably are open. You go
right.
and close down. Be present. It's very important.
So
Yeah.
when you're saying that you ground yourself several times a day and then you close down, what does that look like? I mean, do you just visualize? Because I ground myself, but I guess I don't close myself off. I mean, or what is how
Uh,
Mm.
I don't.
I
That's a good question. Yeah.
I have
I don't
videos on my YouTube channel that take you through the
okay.
process. So what I will
Oh,
do,
good.
if anyone is interested, please email me and I'll email you the link.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh, and this way you can follow the simple process. We keep
Mm,
it nice and very simple, and you close down. Okay. Now remember, in my case, I have to ground myself several times a day because this
right,
is what I do as a service.
right.
So I see clients, I pick things up, sometimes in person, sometimes over the
Hmm.
phone, whatever. So in your case, I would highly recommend it. However, sometimes when a message is due to come through to you, like in your case here, Teresa,
Hmm.
even if you ground yourself, the message will still come through
Hmm.
to
Okay.
you because it's very significant.
Yeah.
Whether this man believes you or not, good luck to him. But you
Yeah.
have done your part to deliver to him something
Hmm.
which is to be treasured. This is an
Hmm.
assurance to him that his dad is okay, even though there was a
Hmm.
distance between them, even though he didn't get a chance to be present there personally.
Hmm.
So, as far as I'm concerned, this potato missed the chance to see his dad twice now. First of all,
Well, he beat me to it. He said it before I got to tell him. So
yeah,
that's why I don't think he believed me,
good luck
you
to him.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I guess you're
Uh,
right. Yeah,
but
it's pretty
personally,
profound.
if somebody came and gave me this assurance about my mom,
Uh-huh.
I would give them a massive hug and thank them
Me too.
because it means the world to me that this
Yeah.
connection was done.
Right, right, right. Hmm. What about like, go ahead. Someone have a
Oh,
question? Liz?
it's Liz Garo.
Yeah.
I have a question about your communicator. Can you tell me, all three of us here, about your communicator and how you use that person, where they're from?
What is
My communicator, is someone who has asked me that he should remain anonymous uh, from day one. I know that he comes from the biblical times, and whether he is of there are no ranks here. So if I was to say that he's a prophet or he's a disciple or whatever, makes no difference. We're all equal in the eyes of God. Okay. However, it appears that he has more experience, more experience in terms of humans and how to deal with the situations, because I deal with quite a bit with very tragic losses as well, murder, suicide, and so forth. And these need the extra bit of comfort for the families. They have questions, they need answers. So that is a scope that is beyond me. Even though I am a trained life coach, these guys need that special care. And this is where he steps in, especially somebody at the who's balancing on edge with their lives and so forth. So that's as far as I can reveal about him. But I know because he revealed himself to me in that respect, not directly. I had to work and find out who he is. But he sent me symbols, and when the penny dropped, I knew who he was, and that's it. And he made it very clear that it's not about me, it's not about you, it's about the service. One thing I know is he's very, very serious. He communicates to me in my mother tongue, which is Arabic, and he calls me son when he addresses me, and he says, "My son, this and the other." Sometimes when I am with a client and there is a very sticky point, or we're not moving forward and so forth, he comes through and he said, "My son, this lady is very severely damaged. We need to be slow and take things a step at a time." That sort of thing. I feel absolutely blessed to be working for him, with him, for the greater good here.
How did you first discover him, Garo?
I don't think I discovered him. I think he discovered me. I think uh, because I was doing healing in the church, and I'd do healing every Friday. Of course, I would never take a penny for it. That was all healing and service. So, and in my mind's eye, I started to see the figure. I started to see him. And eventually, I started to see him clearer and clearer. And one day, um, I saw a female with him. And the female said, "We are going to do some good work, Garo, and prepare yourself," that sort of thing. And I had no idea who I'm talking with here. Who is this? I knew that he's linked with me as a communicator. That's as far as it goes. But who was he? I was intrigued. And later I just put it to one side. But his message was persistent. The image he was sending was quite specific. So I took it and went to my dear friend who's now passed. She's a psychoanalyst and she's very spiritual herself. And when I told her, "Look, this is what I'm seeing," she immediately identified him. She said, "Can't you put two and two together here? This is who you're talking to. This is your communicator." And even as I speak about it now, I've got hair standing up all over. I've got goose pimples. I knew she was spot on. But at the same time, I knew that I'd enjoy a few seconds of the privilege. That's it. We move on. It's not about him. It's not about me. It's about the service.
Mm.
Now, some people, um, I mean, I guess Teresa, as you said, you attend church.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. What is the view in church about cremation?
Um, that's interesting because my mother was a very devout Catholic. and she was, my parents were in their 40s. They adopted me, so so she was kind of traditional. But I once said I didn't like the idea of being buried, with my body. I said I was young. I said I want to be cremated. She said, well, the church is changing its ideas on that, but it does kind of. I don't know. I'm not sure that how I feel about that. I feel like your body should be intact. I don't know. It's just people say I put the ashes here and here, and I've traveled all around the world. And what do you think about it? I mean, it's a better question.
Uh, Stephanie, Liz, what do you guys think?
I think I'm all for cremation. I already have mine set up.
Hmm.
Do you mean you have been cremated already?
No, no, no. It's all set up. It's paid for everything.
Okay.
So my
Right.
son doesn't have to worry about it.
It's
There
definitely
is,
more economical, I think, than being buried for
Extremely
sure.
more economical. Yeah.
Mm.
And we're not in our bodies at the time. I think it's better for the planet. Yeah, it's more economical for sure. I think it's a way to go. Didn't they cremate? Well, they had like in Hinduism, uh, didn't they put fire under the people and light them up and cremate their bodies that way on kind of like stilts?
yeah, absolutely. The Hindus, they've done that for ages. Um, it's very interesting because I've read the Bible. I'm more aligned with the New Testament. Um,
Mhm.
uh, However, one passage which I've read, or the Corinthians number 13, it's about love. And that I've always loved. I read it sometimes. And the message in that, um, let me read this to you. It's about love. And he says, if I speak in the tongues of men and of angels but have not love, I am a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. And if I have prophetic powers and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith so as to remove mountains but have no love, I am nothing. If I give away all I have, and if I deliver up my body to be burned but have not love, I gain nothing. This is in the Bible. Why would he
Wait,
say,
what was the last part? I gain everything, or
I gain
if
nothing?
I gain nothing.
So if I give away all I have, and if I deliver up my body to be burned, but have no love, I gain nothing. So in essence, he's talking about the purification using fire to purify the body, to uh,
Hmm.
well, I forgot the term, to cremate the body, purification.
Right.
So if you have no love, then you've not achieved anything. The interesting part of this is it's in the Bible.
Hmm.
Why would the disciple of Christ say, if I give up my body to be burnt?
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
I've heard people from different religious sects talk about not being cremated because you're going to need your body, and that doesn't sound right to me. Um,
Um, Usually, from what I've gathered, is the insects, the worms they will consume. So if you're ready to chase after a million of them and reach in
right.
all these parts that they've consumed, yeah, you might be able to find your body back.
Right.
No, that is quite
Right.
no, that's quite archaic. But this
Hmm.
this has been something that I've used before. When
Hmm.
my father-in-law passed, this was his wish, and they are Catholics, and his
Hmm.
wish was to be cremated.
Hmm.
So the blessed priest, he was a lovely, lovely man,
Hmm.
big, joyful fellow, very, bubbly personality. And he said, Garo, how can I authorize this? I can't authorize this. It's the very Catholic church,
Mhm.
devout. And
Mhm.
I showed him this. I said, "Can you explain?" And he said, "Oh God, I know what you're talking about. I can't explain it. So how do we solve the problem?" He said, "Let's have a coffee. Let's have some sweets." And we sat there, had coffee, sweets. In the meanwhile, what he did is he emailed the church in Lebanon, where we're from, and he
Mm.
asked the higher order, quoting to them Corinthians 13. And what they said, "Okay, we will authorize it as long as all the ashes are kept in one place."
Oh, interesting.
Interesting, huh? Yeah, and not
Hmm.
dispersed all over the place. Well, we've met a middle ground here.
Hmm.
So they've allowed it as long as it's not dispersed. Come 100 years, they'll say, "Why are you keeping it? Just disperse it. Come on." There is no space in God's kingdom. We're all in God's kingdom. That's something for the future.
Hmm. Hmm. Something to think about anyway.
Yeah.
Hmm.
How many of you would be scared if you were to experience a manifestation, a physical manifestation? Say you are at home doing something or the other, and you turn and you see a loved one in person. How would you feel?
I'd be so happy.
You
It
wouldn't be
wouldn't scare
scared?
me.
You wouldn't be scared.
No,
No.
no, not at all.
Stephanie, would you be scared?
No, not at all. It would be amazing, because you feel them all the time. So to actually be
Mhm.
able to physically see a manifestation of them would be wonderful.
And Liz, what about you? Is
Oh,
it
I feel the same way of the other two. Definitely. Yeah. I'd love it. Hmm.
what if it was a stranger?
Nah, I'm not so sure about that then. I I'd I don't know.
You
I'd
mean like
certainly
an
ask them.
apparition, right? Like to actually see a stranger? Yeah,
Yeah.
that might freak me out.
Okay.
Unless they came with a good vibe. Yeah, I think you can feel
Stephanie?
those things.
Um, I think it just depends on how they, because I've had it where it's very abrupt and startling, and then
Mhm.
other times it's like, I think I would be okay with it. I think it's just how they present and how, because if you see somebody in death state, if it was a horrible accident and that's how you see them, I think
Mm.
that would be a little startling.
No, I've got to make it clear. If they've had a, let's say, disfiguration from fire or an accident, you will not see
Right.
them. You will not see them as such. No.
Okay.
Okay, you will not, unless there is a reason for you to actually see them as such. Okay, but they don't appear as such. They will not,
Mm.
because they know that it will bring more harm than good.
Mm.
Okay, so what I would say is, should this ever happen to any of you, it's easier said than done now because I'm sitting here, there's no apparition. But should there
Mm.
be an apparition, try to control yourself. And
Mm.
always remember, you are in command. And this is your home, this is your space, and it has to be respected. So, first of
Mm.
all, let's not jump to conclusions that, "Oh my God, who are you? What's the." Don't panic. Don't panic. If they want to hurt you, they don't need to appear to hurt you. They could
Right.
hurt us, but they're not
Mm.
going to hurt you. Okay. Second of all, send out, or speak to them. Like, what do you want? Who are you?
Mm,
Now, some will tell you, oh, be careful, blah, blah, blah. No, no, no. If, as I said before, if they want to harm you, they will harm you. It doesn't work this way. So speak to them. What is it that you want? And if you feel uncomfortable, you say, I am feeling uncomfortable. Please leave. This is my home.
mhm,
And that's the way to deal with it. Don't panic. It's like, you know, when you've got like this dog situation and you've got this strange dog suddenly barking at you and stuff, they tell you, don't panic, don't show fear, stand your
mm,
ground. Now, I'm petrified of dogs, but I've had to do this once or twice before when I've had dogs come to me and I feel
mm,
very uncomfortable with them. So you stand your ground, and that's how it is.
mm, mm. Yeah.
Feel free to ask questions if you want. It's up to you.
Garo, when you were speaking at the beginning of the session about protecting yourself and praying before your sessions, so it was for you and for the person that's asking questions, and you said also for the ones that were coming through.
Yeah.
How how is it for the ones that are coming through?
Um, Interesting question because, as I said, let's think of it as a phone box situation that they have a phone box where they're entering to communicate with us. I pray for protection for them, is that they are not intruded upon or affected in any way. This is in my mind. Thus, I think about it this way that please protect everybody here, myself, my client, you know, my whoever I'm communicating with. So everybody. So a circle of protection here.
Okay.
Perhaps I am going a bit too far here. Maybe they don't really need me to be praying for them. Maybe the blessed angels are protecting them anyway. But I do feel that it does no harm to pray for them as well, to be protected.
Okay, thanks.
However, I need to stress something. Uh, we live in a culture where people believe that there is a lot of malice in the world from the other side. Like horror movies have exaggerated the situation. And I
Yeah.
once
Yeah.
somebody was telling me, "Oh, even if aliens come from another planet, they're devils coming in spaceships and so forth." And I said, "Listen, devils don't need to come in spaceships."
Spaceships.
Okay. I said to him, devils come in the form of priests who abuse children. These are the
Mm,
real devils. Okay. So the mind can go into a thousand places. We need to be grounded here and to be realistic. The other side has some bad things, has some good, but majority is good things. The bad things are usually very much restricted, restrained, and controlled. They can't really affect us as badly as we affect ourselves. Most of the bad things that happen here have got nothing to do with the other side. We're doing it to ourselves. So
mhm,
this is what gives me comfort to know that the other side is really beautiful in that respect.
mm. I have a question for you.
Sure.
Um, have you ever experienced what I can only describe as a miracle? Maybe it was an answer to a prayer or something. Just, I mean, I'm sure you have because of the work that you do, but I'd be curious to hear a story about that if you have one or more
Oh,
thousands.
so many, so many.
Right.
It's very humbling to be part of every single connection I make, every connection I make where there is clarity and purity. To me, as far as I'm concerned, that is a miracle.
Hmm.
You know, every connection, because I see it in the eyes of the people who I am linked with, and I see it in their eyes that they're becoming, they're receiving comfort and healing.
Mm,
And I see that they're becoming, they're going into a better place. To me, that is a miracle. However,
mm,
in more profound physical miracles, when I was active in the church and doing my healing work. There, I witnessed things, well, myself and my team, we witnessed things that cannot be explained. Definitely cannot. I used to visit a child who was brain dead because of a car crash. He was only 16 years old when the car crashed, and a wall from a house fell on his head. The impact was so severe, the chances were very, very slim. And his parents were told to prepare themselves for burial, basically, that he's not going to make it. I went with my wife because she's friends with the family. And when I met him, something took over me there and then. And I told my wife, I can help this child. I don't know what the hell am I saying here. I went home thinking, why am I saying this? So his mother felt that she should call me. They didn't know what I do, but she knew. She was very, very sensitive herself. So I
Mm.
went. For many months, I prayed for him. Every other day, I would go to his bedside and I'd sit there and I'd pray for him, maybe an hour, have a coffee, go back to his room and pray and pray. I never gave up hope, even though I saw that the situation is absolutely hopeless. And we had
Hmm.
dark days as well where I didn't think he would make it, but I kept being persistent and persistent. Now,
Right.
they had put something through his throat. I'm not a medical person.
Tracheotomy, maybe?
I have no idea.
Like here?
Yeah, something
Yeah,
through here.
tracheotomy.
Okay. So
New trachea. Mhm.
I have no idea what is that anyway? Why would they put that?
I think it's so they can breathe properly. I think,
Okay.
yeah, it's to push air into the
Right.
lungs.
So one day they were talking about that they have to operate on him to have this removed because it has to be removed with an
Right.
operation. So I wasn't there in time to witness this. However, apparently the nurse came into the room and she found this removed. And he had removed it himself and put it by the bed. They immediately rushed him to the X ray, MRI, or something, and the report was it has been removed with surgical precision. How the hell did this happen? I have no idea. And I'm sure that some divine intervention. The boy recovered. He's not fully recovered, but he's beautiful soul and he's still going strong. He's graduated from college. He plays physical activities now,
Mhm.
and he's very much alive where they thought he would be dead.
Is this a young man you wrote about in your book? Because I bought it and read it last weekend,
Oh,
half of
bless
it.
you. Thank you very much. Yes.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
well,
Very compelling.
if you had attended this Q&A, you could have saved money buying the book.
I enjoy reading the book, actually. I'm not finished. I was
Thank you.
looking for it, but I guess it's I must have left it at my office. But
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you. I'm
I
deeply
just I'm
honored. Thank you.
I just like hearing about this stuff.
Thank you. Yeah, this was one of many such activities, many such situations where I actually witnessed miracles. Uh, in the end, they become second nature to me. I see them and I don't find them strange. I don't find them, I'm not bedazzled by them. I expect them.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too. Mary, come say hi. My daughter's intrigued.
Oh, uh, how old is your daughter?
She's 15.
Okay, well,
She's almost 16. She has Down syndrome. I don't know if I don't think I mentioned that to you, but she's very, very sweet.
I'm sure she is.
She's
Uh,
highly sensitive. She
oh,
sees the things that you see.
oh, that's so beautiful. She must have a very pure soul.
Oh
Beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah,
I've seen her full up sitting up at night talking to people. I'm like, all right.
lovely. You know, Teresa, as a general rule of thumb, I've always felt that God picks the select special souls to send to the very special people here. who can who can earn them as a reward and be their perfect guardians. So bless you for being such a lovely soul to receive such a beautiful soul.
Thank you.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you. Yeah. You won't come. You can come. Come on, doggy. No one wants to come to me. They're all just like, never mind. Hmm.
Liz, do you have anything to say about miracles?
No, I don't actually.
The reason
But
why I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
I do have something to say about Down syndrome.
Hmm.
Working with them in at the hospital. They are the most beautiful, loving people in the world.
Yeah,
And Teresa, you're so lucky that you are a recipient
I
of your
agree.
daughter.
So lucky.
Yeah, yeah. I
She's a
love
gift.
working with them.
Hmm.
Uh, Stephanie, we seem to have two of you now.
Okay, I had to log into my phone because my computer froze and was doing weird things. Am I
Okay.
still on? Is it just one of me?
Yeah, don't worry about that. Don't worry at all.
Sorry.
Yeah. Liz, why I asked you specifically about miracles is because I know you worked in the medical field in hospitals. So I was wondering if you had seen anything yourself or experienced anything yourself.
There I am unmuted. No, I haven't.
Okay.
Despite the decades and decades that I worked.
Hmm.
No, I haven't.
Liz, please, can you shed some light on something that intrigues me? What would be the general culture in the medical world if anything was witnessed that's beyond the two and two equation? Two and two equal four equation. Would they like tell you if something like this was to happen, dismiss it, ignore it, or how would they address it?
I'm a little baffled by your question, Garo.
I don't think I've put the question in the best way possible. Teresa, I think you perhaps understood what I'm trying to say here.
I think you're just saying like if things happen that appear to be have some kind of miraculous intervention, does the medical community acknowledge that, or do they just kind of say, well, it's just random?
No, I think that nowadays they do acknowledge that for sure. Yeah, definitely. Their
That's
eyes are opening.
that's so beautiful. Do you know that I used to do healing in A&E, in the A&E, in the what you call them? I'm not quite sure what you call them in the States, in the emergency rooms.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay,
know
good.
A&E. Yeah.
Yeah, A&E, and I used to be there, and it was always fascinating because I'd have all these doctors and nurses around me, and here I am kneeling and praying for a patient.
Uh,
And I got talking to a nurse one day who was one of my people as well, to used to come for healing, and she said, "Garo, you walk in with with pride and faith." She said, "Because legally we are obliged to conform to what the patient or their loved ones want." And she said, "You can hold a full-fledged exorcism if you want in there. Nobody will have a right to say anything to you." And I found that absolutely fantastic and amazing.
mhm,
Well done. Well done. It made me
mhm,
love the medical world even more than before. That we can link at this sort of level.
mhm.
Go ahead, Stephanie. You wanted to ask something?
No, I guess I'm just kind of not reflecting, but just thinking about how times have changed because it used to not be like
Mhm.
that.
It is. It's changing a
Yeah.
lot. I've got a lot of people who are in law enforcement, officers, especially from America,
Mhm.
they are very, very open. Funny enough, here in England, they've gone backwards. Rather than be more open, they've become more closed. But in
Mhm.
America, they're very open. I've linked with many of
Mhm.
them from different agencies, different different police forces and so forth. And all have been absolutely respectful and understanding. Doctors, nurses, everybody. And I look at them like, wow, I used to be afraid,
Mhm.
literally afraid of
Mhm.
saying anything because I
Yeah.
would feel like they're going to be looking at me like you're a freak. You're
Yeah.
something's wrong with you. But but now they look at me, medium. Oh,
Yeah.
well done. Well done to you.
I know how you feel because I teach at a Christian university and it's different than Catholic. It's which has a lot of mysticism in it, but it's sort of like you don't dabble with that stuff. But I can't help myself sometimes. I just have to share these stories with my students and I think it's I think everyone has mystical experiences and with the divine or the unseen, whatever it is,
Yeah,
I mean, it's
absolutely.
fascinating.
Absolutely. And more people are moving to the light here. We are at the age of enlightenment. People are understanding that, hang on a minute,
Yeah.
not everything can be easily defined, not easily
Hmm.
dismissed. One of my very good friends, she's an author and a special needs consultant. In fact, she's a specialist in special needs. And she's written many books and she lectures. And she told me once, she said, Garo, do you know what I'm doing now in the classes? And she says, I'm actually sharing with the children the reality that life is not black and white. There is
Yeah.
something beyond. Perhaps we don't understand what it is, but it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Hmm.
And I said, won't that get you into trouble? She said, maybe, yeah, maybe it will one day. But she said, I don't care. I've got to be honest with them. I'm not a hypocrite.
Yeah. Mm.
So the situation is starting to change now. I do this with my daughter at home. I'm never going to influence her in any way. But
Right.
I do tell her that there is something beyond
Hmm.
this life. There is something called heaven, which is beautiful place. She's only 9 years old, but she's content with that.
Hmm.
That's as far as I'll go with her. It's up to her to discover her own reality.
Hmm. Well, I think there's mysticism in all religions, these unexplained, unseen things, and certainly in Christianity and Judaism and um, uh, all these cultures, all these religions, Abrahamic, it's all related.
100%. I mean,
Or
uh,
Native Americans and other, cultures, indigenous people.
100%. Absolutely, 100%. And these cultures that existed far beyond Christianity, far before Christianity,
Right.
Native Americans, Africans, Indians, and the Hindus, and so forth, they were well before us.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that I find common in all of them, these cultures, they regard death as the great liberator. They feel that the soul is transitioning to its home. In many of such cultures, they actually celebrate. I have seen a funeral in Ghana where my wife was born. She's Lebanese, but she's born in Ghana, and we,
Okay.
we frequent there quite often. And I've seen a funeral there. I swear to God, you'd think it's a rave party. People dress in red,
That's great.
yeah, and they drink rum. They get drunk, they celebrate, they might cry a little bit, it's human. But the general feeling is let us rejoice because this soul has returned to God. This is beautiful. In Lebanon, for instance, when somebody dies, it becomes such a morbid, tragic situation. Everyone dresses in
Mm,
black, and oh my God. Oh, and I look at them and I wonder sometimes. I say, hang on a minute. Why aren't you? Fair enough. I can understand you crying. We all cry. We miss them. We love them. But not to this level, because this doesn't warrant a soul has been liberated to go back home. So
mm,
I do fully see where you're coming from.
hmm. Yeah. I also think it's comforting for people who are maybe not that religious or, maybe don't have a firm grounding in, their faith, but to just to have an experience with someone like you, Carol, who has helped me, to be like, give some kind of evidence that it doesn't end when the heart stops beating, you know, that it continues and perhaps is the next great adventure.
Uh, un-
That's exactly how I feel too. It doesn't end. It is another wonderful, wonderful place to go.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
it doesn't end. I mean, people can believe whatever they want to believe.
Right,
It doesn't end. I mean, what's the purpose of it ending? It cannot end. Life is a
right,
circle. It cannot
right.
end. Life is deathless, and it's in all religions. I mean,
Yep.
uh, how many religions are there in the world? Do you know?
I know a lot, a lot.
Over 3,000 religions recognized.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was going to
Uh,
say 1500, but wow.
oh
Okay.
no, over 3,000 religions.
Oh,
And most of them say the same thing. The soul leaves the body. So there is
yep.
consistency in most of them. And the reason for it is because this is how life is.
Mm,
Maybe it doesn't appeal to our logic, but it doesn't mean that it's not happening. This is what's going on. It doesn't end, and it doesn't end for the animals as well, for the animal kingdom, for our pets. It doesn't end at all. On the contrary, as Liz said,
mm,
there's something beyond, and it's a beautiful
yeah.
adventure beyond the next level.
Yep.
And I think the near-death experiencers out there, no matter what culture you come from or what country you come from, I think it's pretty much the same what they have to say
Mm,
about their experiences.
Now, near-death experiences, I take most of them with a pinch of salt. And I tell you why. Because there's a lot of psychological, mental things that come into play here. Okay? However, if we read between the lines and if we look, there seems to be, in the simplest form, there seems to be some sort of consistency here. They seem
mm,
to be going through a tunnel of light or a light or
mm,
something where they transition into a place that's beautiful, and they're met by
mm,
either a loved one or they're met by an advanced being or someone,
mm.
and they're told it's not your time, you go back. So
Right,
this I feel now the details as to who they meet and whatever and what color trees they see and what,
right.
that's completely different, and I feel that some of it may be the mind just filling in the blanks. I don't know. um, but
Yeah.
again, it's reassuring that it happens in one way or
Mm,
the other. We get a sneak peek to what's out there.
Yeah, yeah.
mhm, mm.
Sorry, Teresa, please go ahead.
I wanted to pay you a compliment because you did a reading for me a week and a little bit ago, and my friend did not believe that there was anything beyond. He said, you're just deluding yourself. But his message was, get ready for the big surprise. And I think even people who don't believe might get a big surprise to be like, wow, wow. Like Steve Jobs said when he was dying of cancer in his last moments, he said, wow,
Yeah,
you
bless
know.
him. He was um, at least he went with his eyes open, basically. Uh,
Hmm.
However, even if they don't believe, when they get to the other side, they're
Yeah.
accommodated for. You know, they will find their way. Everyone finds their way,
Hmm.
and so as far as I'm concerned, the truth cannot be hidden, even here or in
Hmm.
the afterlife. We
Right.
will have to be united at that sort of level.
Hmm. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah. Incidentally, did you know that Steve Jobs is actually Syrian?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, his father was Syrian and an Armenian, in fact, just
Huh.
like my culture, Armenian.
Right,
Uh,
right, right.
and the father was some colorful character, let's put it this way. And he gave
Uh-huh.
up Steve and his sister sorry, he was not Armenian. Sorry, the adopting parents were Armenian. Sorry.
Mm,
So he gave them up for adoption, and I think they grew up separately. And Steve was adopted by an Armenian couple, and that's how he was raised.
right.
Makes no difference where he's from. I'm just out of interest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I think I think that those final moments that were recounted are really important because they show even people who don't believe are just going, wow.
yeah, absolutely.
Like,
Yeah,
like that's beautiful.
yeah, absolutely. Um, I've got to share something with you as well here. I mean, my journey as a healer has been to help people overcome their difficulties or physical issues, and mostly emotional, mental, and spiritual, to help them come through. However, there has been occasion when I would have been called upon to help them transition, or by their loved ones, for instance. And that
Hmm.
is where I reverse the polarity. As opposed to helping them stay, I'm helping them to
Mm,
release and go. This
hmm.
was the hardest thing that I was I've been asked to do.
Hmm.
And there's a procedure which I made up myself. I don't follow books, by the way. I never do. I don't bother with them. But there's a procedure that I adopted myself,
Yeah.
and it has worked a few times, and it's helped such situations.
Hmm.
And this was a biggest test for me because I had to separate myself from myself, because it's
Hmm.
usually someone who I care for, who I love. There's a connection. But at the
Hmm.
same time, I have to do them a favor and be clinical about this and pull back and sever and help them sever and to move on. I think, Liz, you might be more inclined to understand where I'm coming from here, coming from the medical world.
Hmm.
I think it I think it'd be a gift that you could give to somebody to help them move on. Certainly.
That's very nice thing to say. Thank you.
Hmm. Hmm. I know we're almost over. Well, I guess we're over time, but I think I just want to say one thing because my niece works as a birth doula in Mexico. Very, very working with indigenous people. And I think there's a real ritual that goes with being born, and also miscarriages, and she has special things that they do when people lose babies, but also, when you come into the earth and when you leave this plane, I think it's important to acknowledge and try to understand that they're just entrances and exits, right? I mean,
They're both very sacred events.
right. Thank you. That was the word I was looking for. Sacred. Yes. Yeah. It's very healing, this work that you do. Thank you.
It is. Thank you. I mean, I wouldn't have my life in any other way. But I tell you
Hmm.
what, Teresa, the book, well, I wrote some of the things, but my life has not been easy. If you're doing
I
it,
got that.
if you're doing things in the right way. Now, I don't do it
Hmm.
for the limelight. I don't do it for celebrity status.
I know.
Yes, I charge clients. That's only fair because I've got to put some bread on the table.
Of course.
Uh, but at the same time, it has been very arduous, very difficult, very testing at all levels. And there
Hmm.
are times when I've actually thrown the towel and said, that's it. Enough is enough. There are many times when I've pulled away from it and said, I don't want to know. I don't want my
Hmm.
sensitivity. I closed them off completely and I said, enough. Uh, it's not been easy at all. I mean, not
Hmm.
easy on me, but even worse on my wife and
All right.
my daughter. It's not been easy on them. My wife paid very dear prices because of this. Um, we can't hear you.
There we go.
Okay, so it's not been easy. However, knowing that you're doing the right thing for the right people uh, gives me the comfort, and that motivates me to do more.
Yeah.
Uh, I've been threatened many times by entities from the other side saying, we will break you, we will do this. Uh, And in the beginning, it used to affect me. It affected me the first time. It affected me the second time. The third time, I used colorful language back at them.
Right.
The fourth time, when
Sorry. I'm
sorry,
just on a Zoom here. No, it's okay. Go ahead.
the fourth time was when one of them told me to my face. It was through a lady who was actually possessed, and she said in a man's voice, I will kill you." I said, "You've got to get in line for that."
Right.
I don't give a damn. Really don't give a damn. Because as far as I'm concerned, I'm doing God's work. So if you kill me, fine, kill me. I don't care. I've done my part here.
Right.
Go ahead, Steph.
I was just thinking, just wondering, speaking
Hi.
on that, do you
Come in. I'm sorry. I've got somebody now.
okay.
Oh, hello. Come say hello quickly. Sorry, guys. This is my daughter, Celine.
Hi. Hi.
There's Teresa. There's Stephanie. And there's Liz. Yeah?
Hi, Celine.
Okay.
You're a very pretty girl.
Thank you.
Okay.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Sorry for the disturbance, guys.
That's a nice disturbance.
Thank
Yeah.
you. She was very curious to see. She told me earlier, she said, "Are they nice people?" I said, "Come and see for yourself."
I wish
So,
my daughter had come. She was curious.
so Stephanie, what were you asking? Forgive me.
Oh, that's fine. I was um just talking about, the different entities as you were saying, and you've been threatened before. I'm just wondering, and also reading your book, and you had mentioned that you still do service as a church. Do you find that you do a lot of the exorcism type things still? Is that pretty common or is it not so common?
It's very common, but
Is
I
it?
have taken a step back from it as well because the last threat I got was very substantial. Whatever scumbag it was on the other side threatened my lovely daughter.
Ah,
And he
oh
said,
my gosh.
we may not get you, but we will get someone you love. We'll get your daughter. I froze.
Yeah.
I froze. There and then I froze with the patient I was dealing with. I literally froze. I just closed with a prayer. I came out and I had floods of tears. It touched my heart. I just thought, hang on a minute. Am I going to be the cause of a disaster here? What am I doing? This is a line I cannot cross. And I went home, I felt very, very down. And it sort of set me back because as an exorcist, you have to approach the situation with no fear and complete faith and complete disregard to yourself.
Right.
Otherwise, you can't go to the front line. Imagine a soldier going to a front line trying to fight and he's scared. Oh my God, am I going to be hit? Am I going to be hurt? He will lose,
Mm,
he will be hurt. But if you
Yeah.
go to the front line, you've got to be brave and say, I don't care if I'm going to take a bullet or a shell.
right.
So when that setback happened, I had to stop. However, later, I sort of came to the realization, it took me some time. That punch was quite substantial,
Mhm.
but I reeled back from it. And then I thought, what am I doing? I have faith in God. I have faith in my communicator and blessed angels. They'll look after her. They'll look after me. I went back to square one. And I've seen myself go back in service again. I can't turn my
Mm,
back on these people. I mean, the
right.
lady who I described earlier, she'd gone from one psychiatrist to another. She even went to the church, to a Catholic church or whatever church it was, and the priests got rid of her. They told her not to come back.
Wow.
How can I turn my back on someone like that?
Yes.
Seeing that I have the ability to be able to help her. I can't do that. I can't sleep at night knowing that I've turned my back on someone that I could have done something. I can't.
Yeah.
So I went back in, um, and now I just don't give a damn again.
I can only imagine what that must have been like for
It
you. I
was,
just,
it was, Stephanie, it was substantial. It was absolutely substantial because, forgive me here, I'll use this language, the scumbag on the other side, whoever it was, he knew which button to push. And that is
Mhm.
my weak
Mm,
point. That is my weak point. Although I have said earlier that the influence of the darker side is not as substantial as we like to think it is on this side of life. However, if invited, they will proceed to link with us. How do we invite them? Well, for instance, drug abuse. That opens us up. People who play with the Ouija board and
oh,
some nonsense like that. That again opens
terrible.
you up. Absolutely. Black magic and
Mhm.
magic and anything that is beyond the rules of Mother Nature, God, then you're opening yourself up.
Right.
You
Hmm.
know, money, the greed for money. Jesus said, don't sell your soul for money. Don't sell your faith for money. And
Hmm.
people, so you're inviting them. And when you invite them, trust me, there's a beginning and God knows where it ends. So that's where it's best not to invite them from the beginning, not to invite them in the
Mm,
first place.
Yeah.
mm, mm. We've taken so much of your time. I know this is only supposed to be an hour,
No, it's supposed
but
to be 2 hours.
oh, okay, okay, okay. All right. I'm
Yep.
feeling all bad. Okay. So my question to you is, um, teenagers, I guess I don't really have teenagers anymore. I have a son who's 25. another son who's 18. Um, I have six kids. I think I might have mentioned that too, but um, maybe not. But I feel like my boys are more prone to these psychic attacks. You're nodding. Like, do you agree? I mean, is that a thing? Why is that?
A, because they're vulnerable, and because
Uh-huh.
they think that they are on top of the world. Usually, the other side, the darker side of life, they operate in a manner where they choose vanity,
Mm,
arrogance. You see, that's what they want. They want you to be at a different level, above life, above this,
mm.
so that they can do the rug pull.
Right.
Okay. In your case, I would say, don't worry. Uh,
Mm,
Very rare that they actually might get harmed unless they invite it. The best thing you do is to just raise them to be good people, teach them the principles and
right.
the way of life, and just leave it at that.
Mhm.
Have some faith.
Yeah.
Teresa, what do you mean by psychic attacks?
Um, well, as Garo knows, like I've had I have psychic sensitivities. I have since I was a child, and only sort of like understood it more recent years, but but my son would hear voices when he was young, and it's not mental illness. It's like literally because I said, well, what are these voices saying? He said they're saying, "Good job, John. You're doing a good job." Like I feel like it was ancestral, because people were he had a spiritual team, but he can just go to dark places sometimes. And I think that happens from, some of the things you described in your book, Garo. Like, I mean, I think early childhood things and boarding school and stuff like that. I just and so I pray for him, but he's just very hold hold back. I feel like I'm saying too much.
No,
Are
no, look, there's only so much you can do. Don't worry, as long as you give him the guidebook, give him the way of life, the plan, a map of
Mhm.
life, how what he should be doing, what he shouldn't be doing. The rest is really up to him. You can't do more. I
I
know
guess
you've
so,
got a
yeah.
very big heart. You want the best for them, of course. You're super mommy. Uh, and you just observe it. If you see that things are beyond control, or if things happen that are not so good, then you can take whatever necessary action you need to take. The voices, I wouldn't put it past that something from on the other side is saying something to him. And it's so
Mhm.
far, if there are no physical marks on him, or if he's not
No,
being hurt, then it's harmless. So somebody is telling him, good job, well done, keep it up. So
right,
I wouldn't see it as
right,
harmless. So I would be more concerned if he starts gravitating towards, let's say, consuming drugs, God forbid, or something that's more ominous. That's when you have
right,
to ring the alarm bells and say, hey, hang on. But so far, that's fine,
mm,
perfectly fine.
right, right. Yeah, it's just getting older, I think. I think kids get depressed when they leave childhood a bit.
I mean, I'm not the best example, Teresa. Here before you is a 58-year-old man who, once upon a time, I was a complete outlaw, complete lunatic. I had no boundaries. I absolutely crazy in life. I didn't appreciate,
Hmm.
very arrogant. I've had to grow to understand life and to appreciate what I have. So I'm not the best
Yeah.
example. And during the process, I also had to battle addictions and drugs and all sorts of nonsense. And it wasn't
Hmm.
easy. So,
Yeah. It could have to do with being what they call highly sensitive person. There are some people they call it's HSP. It's people who are highly sensitive and they feel things in a different way.
probably, I mean, One friend of mine who's a psychologist once told me,
Mhm.
and she said, don't take it too hard on yourself. You were trying to numb yourself because you didn't know what the hell to do with yourself. Maybe that's true. I don't know. Uh,
Yeah.
I think I was just a clown, just going crazy and not appreciating, life for what it was.
Right. Right. Mm.
But, in a way, I've learned to accept the turbulence and the turbulent years. And even though I had done so many bad things in the past, I've learned to embrace them. And the pain that I've gone through also, I've learned to embrace it because
Mhm.
it sort of leveled me to be more
Mhm.
empathic and compassionate to others um, who are suffering at different levels.
Right.
Some people who may not never ever recover from it.
Mhm.
I've been privileged to come out of it, but most people don't, unfortunately.
Right. Mhm.
Any other questions, guys?
I'm just curious. You had mentioned earlier when we were talking about how things are more accepted nowadays, and you were saying that, you know, you felt like the, police and things over here in America were more open-minded, but over by you, it's kind of gone the opposite way. Why do you think they're not quite as open anymore? Do you think what was that shift for?
That's a very good question, Stephanie. I really have no idea.
Mhm.
They become more black and white over here.
Yeah, I was just curious about that.
No, it's more logic and black and white. While in
Hmm.
the States, um, I thought initially that people in the States would look at me like in a cynical way, like, What the hell are you talking about?" On the contrary, they were more open, and I've not only met them, I've met some of their families as well. We've
Wow.
had sessions with members of their families,
Mhm.
and it was fantastic for me to link with them at that sort of level. I have no idea. I really have no idea. But this is collective. It's not only in unique situations, but
Huh.
I got them in situations in the army, in different law agencies. So it's quite fascinating at this sort of level.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. Maybe the education system in the States, maybe that's making a positive change this way. No idea.
Maybe.
Do you have a lot of TV programs on the subject, perhaps?
We do have quite a few paranormal shows and things, yes, on TV and, of course, YouTube and things, but we do have quite a few ghosts and paranormal shows and
Because I'm just wondering
psychic.
how it could be. I mean, I know there's a lot of stuff out there. Uh, Quite a bit of it is uh, fake.
Right.
You see, I don't believe in it. Well, at least half of it is rubbish. It's fake.
Yeah.
Okay, they do it for the camera and acting and so forth.
Yeah.
Um, but still, it's quite fascinating. I mean, I'm talking about uh, people who are very, very established in the scientific world or the military or the
Hmm.
police and so forth. These are the very people I used to shy away from. And members of the law society, I've had many lawyers connect with me.
Wow.
Yeah, many lawyers. And even psychologists, psychiatrists.
Hmm.
I love all of them.
Hmm. It's interesting because I think the work that you do and the work that I do as a teacher and the work that people do as psychologists and It's all related.
It is absolutely related. We're in service, which is beautiful.
Yep.
And I must say, I love teachers. Uh, I mean, I love them so much, I married one. Yeah,
Well done.
yeah. Teachers, they bring light to our children. What else
Mm.
do we want in this world? What beautiful souls they are. Well, I can't think of anything else to bring up. If you have any questions, then feel free. Otherwise, we can bring this meeting to an earlier end if you want. Liz, anything you wish to say?
No, not at all, Garo. Thank you for being there for us today.
Thank you. Thank you all for attending. I want you to know that I love all of you and thank you for making the time to meet with me. And I'll hope to connect with you very soon.
Right.
You
Thank
will.
you
I'll
so
see you
much.
soon.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bless
It
you.
was wonderful.
Thank you.
Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.
Bye.